starshine lights my way to bed. Magic rainbows glisten in my head. Just like a child, I live in Wonderland. All my dreams are coming true. Heavy shackles.
Hi! In this video I'm just going to give you the overview of my new overlocker machine, which is the Babylock Imagine. I have mentioned on a couple of videos previously that I've had a new machine, and a few people have sent me messages and put comments asking for a bit of an insight as to how it works and a review. So that is what this video is about. So if you're interested in that, carry on watching. If you're not, then feel free to switch off at this point. Just to give you a bit of background, I have been using a Babylock Imagine machine for the last few years, but the machine that I had was a very old one that I'd inherited. I think it was one of the very first Babylock Imagines to come out. I think it was about 20 years old or something like that, and it wasn't in the best of condition. The lady who owned it had sadly passed away, and her children had kind of just stored it in a garage, and it wasn't in the best of nick, but I did get some good use out of it, and saw what some of the real qualities were of a Babylock Imagine. However, sadly, she died. The sewing machine died a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't face getting a different type of overlocker. I really did need to stick with a Babylock Imagine because I really do find them a super machine. They are very pricey, so they retail at £1,129 here in the UK. So it is a real investment, but because I knew that mine was on its way out, I have been saving, so I do some kind of freelance work alongside my full-time day job, do some freelance sewing work, and I kind of put that money to one side to purely spend on my sewing gear. So that's what I've been saving for. So I did get a new machine. It's the first ever brand new sewing machine that I've bought ever at all. All my machines are second hand, but the Babylock Imagines, you just can't get them second hand. Once people have got them, they don't get rid of them. So in this video I'm going to give you an overview of the machine. I'm not going to go into all of the details about it because I am still sussing it out myself. Primarily I use an overlocker to finish seams for a professional finish, and also when I'm making garments from knit fabric I use it to construct the garment rather than sewing it on a standard machine. However, there's loads more that you can do with overlockers, and I am just in the process of researching that myself because I've put this real investment into an overlocker. I want to make sure I'm getting the full use out of it. So today's video is just to show you the two kind of key selling points really for the Babylock Imagine, and the first thing is how easy it is to thread because it's got the jet air threading system, and secondly is, I can't think what it's called, I think it's called the automatic thread delivery system or something like that. And what that means is you never have to mess with any of the settings, you never have to set tensions. Whatever type of fabric that you are using with the machine, it will deliver a perfect thread, tension and stitch every time. So you can go straight from sewing silk to a really heavy wool, and you don't have to change the settings at all. It will just feed through on the machine perfectly. So those are the two things that I will be showing you in the video today, just to give you an overview, and then as I find more of the things that you can do with the machine, I'll add future videos to share that with you. So I'm just going to show you first of all what you get with the machine, so what kind of comes in the box. So you get an instruction manual. This is also available online, but it kind of talks you through step by step how to thread, use and maintain the machine. You get some bits and bobs, so you've got like a little cleaning brush which has got a needle holder on the end as well, so if you're looking to remove one of the needles, you kind of use that to stop it dropping in the machine. You've got some tweezers which you use when you're helping with kind of pulling threads out to the back. You've got a little screwdriver. You've got a spare uppercutting blade. Some spare Babylock needles. And some spare clamp screws. So that's what's in the first goodie bag. And then in the second bag, you do get, I've got a couple of these. I'm not sure if it was supposed to come with a couple or whether there was two in by mistake. You're not really going to be able to see what it is, but I'll explain it. It's like a wire threading tool. So because the machine uses the jet air threading system, if you were wanting to use really thick or decorative threads, like if you wanted to use yarn, for example, that might struggle to go through the jet air. So what you can do instead is thread it with this threading tool, where you just basically push the little wire tool through and then thread the yarn through the other end and then pull it through. Sounds much more complicated than what it is. I've got another larger screwdriver. There's another one of those wire things here, so there's 3 that have come with my machine. According to the instructions, you only get 1, so I'm not sure why I've got 3. You've got a set of spool nets if you're using a thread where you need to use those. You've got your little wrench thing if you need to remove the sewing plate, I think you use that for. Oh no, it might be the needles actually. And then you've got some thread holders, not too sure what, I think this is if you're kind of using more of a standard thread rather than the threads that are on the cone, where you can place that on to stop them kind of jumping around on the machine. If you know more about that than me, then do comment in the box below. I always use really the cone, so I've not needed to use any of these, but do let me know in the comments below if you know what they're used for. It looks like I've got a set that have got some padding on the bottom which are anti-vibration, and there's also some that don't have any padding on the bottom. So that's what comes with the machine. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go flick over to a different video so I can show you what the machine looks like, and then I will show you how the threading and the automatic tension thing works as well. Okay, so here is the Babylock Imagine. I'm still playing about with it myself and finding out all the things that it can do, but what I'm going to do first of all is show you how easy it is to thread. Now it is one of the unique selling points, I guess, really for this machine, is that it's got the jet air threading, so it takes all the complications out of threading a machine. That said, I wouldn't be paying the amount that this machine costs purely for how easy it is to thread, because other machines that don't have those type of threading systems, they're tricky at first, but once you get used to how to thread them, they're fine. It's pretty simple anyway, so I certainly wouldn't be spending the amount of extra money that this machine costs purely for the ease of threading. But it does make life a hell of a lot easier. So I'm going to show you how I thread it. So I'm just going to open out the front sections. And then you can see here, this is where the jet air threading works. So I'm just going to see if I can bring you in a little bit closer. There we go. So I'm going to start by threading the loopers. So what I need to do first of all is engage these tubes here, which the jet air pulls the threads through. So all I do simply is press this button in here and turn the hand wheel. Until it clicks like that. So now you can't really see. Let me try and move it round a bit. So the tubes there have now engaged. So what I'm going to do now is I've got my thread, so I'm using the large kind of cone threads. This is a Gutterman Babylock. Okay, so I've placed that on top of the machine. You obviously can't see that because the camera's zoomed in, but I'm just going to thread it. So I'm going to put it through the tension disc at the top, putting it through the hook there. I'm going to place it in the lower looper hole and press the button. And that has threaded. See the thread there has now shot through the looper, and that's threaded. So that's the first looper threaded. I'm now going to do the upper looper, so I just move that lever across to upper, and then I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to go through the tension disc at the top, through the hook, pull down a length of thread, place it in the hole, and then I'm going to press the lever, and the thread has flown out here. So that's the other one threaded. I'm now going to move on to the needles. I can disengage these tubes now because it's threaded, so I just move that lever back. So to thread the needles, I'm going to do the same, put the thread on the bars at the top, put the presser foot down when I'm doing the needle so that it's got the right tension. I just put it through a hook there, around the lip at the top, through the hook there. Now on the hand wheel, let's see if I can show you. You can see on the hand wheel there's a green line, and what I want to do is line. There's a green line on the side of the machine, and there's one on the knob as well. So I'm just going to line those up, and that means that the needles are in the right position for the threaders to be used. So what I'm now going to do is thread the right needle. So here are my needle threaders. You've got left and right. I'm just going to make sure that it's pushed over to right, which it is. And then I'm going to pull my lever down so that hook comes through the eye of the needle. I'm then going to hook the thread onto that and then let it pull through. And that's it. That's the right needle threaded. Just pull that through to the back. And then I'm going to do the same with the left needle. Just need to change the threader to the left, so just going to push it, pull it down, and there we go. So I'm just going to make sure all the threads are pulled through to the back. I'll turn it on and check that that stitches correctly. So that's it, it's all threaded. So that's all threaded now, it's as easy as that. So what I'm just going to show you next is the thing that I do think it's worth spending the money on the Babylock Imagine for, and that is the automatic, I think it's called, thread delivery system. And it basically means that you never have to change any settings. Whatever fabric you're using, the tensions will be absolutely perfect, and you can go straight from a slippery satin type fabric to a sweatshirt fabric, and you don't need to change any settings at all. It'll just go through the machine and it'll have the right amount of tension. So I'm just going to show you that now with a few scraps of fabric. Got a variety of scraps of fabric here. So I've got a sweatshirt, like a heavyweight sweatshirt. I've got a French terry. I've got a polyester lightweight peach skin. Got a lightweight linen. I've got some baby cord, and I've got some satin lining polyester type fabric. So I'm going to whiz all these through the overlocker, just using a 4-thread overlock, just so that I can show you how that automatic thread delivery system works, and that I don't have to change any of the tensions. So I'm going to start with the sweatshirt fabric. So you can see that's that one. So the stitching is perfect, the tension's absolutely spot on. There's the front. So I'm going to go straight in next with the French terry. So this is still a stretchy fabric, but it's lighter weight. So I've not changed any settings, I'm just going to go straight in and sew. So there's that one. Again, it's absolutely fine. There's the front. There's the back. The next one is a Drapey fabric. So this is like a lightweight peach skin polyester. So there's the front. And there's the back. Next I've got the linen, so you can see it's a lightweight linen. There's the front and the back. The baby cord now. So there's that one. And then finally I've got the lining fabric, like a satin type lining. There we go. Front and the back. So that's it. I just wanted to show you how you can put any type of fabric through without changing any of the settings, and it will give it a perfect stitch every time. I've used the normal setting on there. You've got what's called a differential feed. So if you wanted the fabric to be a bit more gathered, then you could set the differential feed higher, or if you wanted it more stretched, then you can set it lower. So I'll just give you an example. I'm going to set it up to the maximum of 2, and I'm going to use the polyester fabric. So you can see then it does give it a bit of a gathered type effect, well, ever so slightly. I do actually have a gathering foot that came with the machine, but I've just not had a chance to play with it yet, so I will add a video in with how that works as well. You can also change the size of the stitches, so you've got stitch width and stitch length by using the knobs here. And you can also disengage the blade, so if you didn't want the blade to cut off the edge of the fabrics like it has there, then you can use this knob here to disengage the blade. So that is it. That's an overview of the Babylock Imagine. As I said, it is a pricey machine, and you can get machines out there which cost nowhere near that amount. You know, they cost a couple of £100. But for me, I do use the overlocker on every garment that I make, either for finishing the seams, but even more so for constructing knit garments. I think once you've used one, you'd find it difficult to do without one, and for me it was definitely an investment, so I was more than happy to spend that amount on a quality machine, which I'm sure I will get years and years of use out of. In relation to the guarantee that comes with the machine, it came with a standard 2-year guarantee, but then if you register it online, that's extended by a further 2 years, so you get 4 years guarantee with the machine as well. But I'm pretty sure that I'll get loads and loads of years of use out of this, as long as I look after it, of course. I forgot to say where I purchased mine from, so there are a few places that you can get it from online or in store. I got mine from So Essential, which is in, it's kind of Birmingham way, and I actually visited, I made arrangements to go and collect it because I don't live too far from there, and I was really impatient waiting for it to be delivered, so I went along and collected it. Really great service. So that is it. If you've got any questions at all, do ask them in the comments below. If it's technical questions about the machine, I don't know much more than what I've just showed you at this stage, but that is my mission. I'm just watching some craftsy online classes myself, where it kind of goes into how to do more with your machine than finish seams and use it for construction like I do. I want to use more of the decorative stitches. Have got a couple of spare feet as well. I've got a gathering foot and I've got a piping foot, so I want to work out how to use those, and I will share that with you when I do. So thank you for watching. I hope that you found that useful, and I will see you very soon. Bye.
Heavy shackles used to hold me down. Now my feet don't even reach the ground. Just like a prisoner when his sentence